What's up, Broncos country? Welcome back to the Broncos Podcast Network and YouTube for the latest episode of Broncos Now. As always, I'm your host, Sydney Jones. And coming up on today's episode, the team held a rookie minicamp this weekend. So we'll hear from head coach Sean Payton in all 7 of the Broncos draft picks. All that and more coming up. The Denver Broncos held rookie minicamp this weekend, in which more than 50 players participated, including all 7 of the Broncos draft picks. We heard today from head coach Sean Payton as he detailed how the weekend has gone so far.
So we just finished basically our second full practice of the rookie camp. We'll have a walkthrough tonight. We'll have one more practice tomorrow. And then, that'll conclude the players on the roster. Free agents or draft picks will then stay and acclimate into the off-season program. We have a number of players trying out here. So basically, there's 4 groups of players. You have our draft picks. You have our free agents. There's 8 or 9 current Broncos that don't have a year credited that are able to come to this. And then the last group are the rookies or veteran tryout players. The hardest thing with this camp every year is it's the only time as a coach you don't really know the conditioning level of the masses. I know the Broncos that are out here have gotten 16 workouts in. But other than that, these draft picks have been visiting college or visiting teams. So that's the challenge, is just the overall conditioning level and trying to make sure that we're staying off the ground and staying healthy.
We also went inside the locker room following practice today and heard from a few of the Broncos draft picks. They detailed their thoughts on their first few practices of rookie minicamp so far.
It went pretty good, day 2 out there. My whole goal is just to, go out there, make sure I'm doing everything right, and just get 1% better every day, So, yeah.
It's been good. It is a lot of, vernacular and verbiage that they throw at us, but Utah kind of ran the similar offense the same way that the Broncos run here. So it's not too big of a difference. Just got to make sure I get in my playbook.
I mean, it's awesome. The coaches know what they're doing and treat us good. So they're always trying to put us first. So it's a huge positive. And the culture here already is awesome.
It's been amazing. It's a dream come true. It honestly hit now. Like, I got drafted. It felt good, but it doesn't hit till you get here. And I'm just blessed and thankful for the opportunity to be here.
Good. Just trying to get better and trying to improve on my technique.
Sean Payton went on to talk about quarterback Bo Nix and discussed how he's learning the playbook and how he's handled the install so far.
He's handling the install well. I mean, he had a pretty good practice today, and he's grinding through it. He's doing a good job with it. He had 2 or 3 down the field throws today. It's almost like watching a good golfer. Sometimes when you watch his game over 2 years, you just there's a patience to how he plays. The ball comes out, and I don't want to use the term boring. That's not the right term, but pretty good decisions. And with each play, the efficiency and how he's operating, all of that. And look, we've done these camps for a long time, and some teams no longer have a true rookie mini camp. It might be more of an orientation. I like to have 50 guys. I like to have the workout players here because we found a tryout player every now and then. And then it also allows you to have the full team drills. And I think it develops not just the quarterback, but everyone else. So oftentimes your first exposure to huddle, snap count, verbiage, that can be challenging. And but I thought he threw it well.
Bo Nix talked in the locker room and discussed what the process has been like learning a new offense.
Well, it's all about studying. It's all about, taking one play at a time, master it, make sure you know the fundamentals, technique of that play, what the play caller's intent is, and essentially they just want to see you go out and execute it. And, it's my job as a quarterback to get the play started and, get the ball where it's supposed to be given. So a lot of that's completing passes, run game operation, it can be a lot, but, I feel like, I'm being taught really well by the coaches. They're doing a really good job of, narrowing everything down and making it simple so I can just get up there and process and play fast.
Plus, Sean Payton went on to talk about what he's looking for from these guys during rookie minicamp and how he evaluates them during this time.
Number one, does the player know what to do? I mean, this is how they're being evaluated. Do they know what to do? And we know we're going to give them a lot. So, but how quickly are they learning it, and are they trying to do what they're being coached? Number three, how well are they doing it? Do they know what to do? Are they trying to do what's being coached? How well are they doing it? And then you get to athleticism, effort, and then, that's talent. So, it's for a guy who's trying out, man, it's challenging because there's essentially 1, 2, 3 practices, couple walkthroughs, and they're just trying to make an impression. And our job is to make sure that none of those players end up somewhere else and was like, man, they were here and now they're, so if we're going to bring them in, then we're going to evaluate every one of them.
And a few of the Broncos draft picks also talked about their initial impressions getting to work with head coach Sean Payton this weekend.
He's been awesome. He teaches me, so much already. He's got a lot of knowledge, and he's built a pedigree to where, when he talks, you listen. So that's what I'm excited to continue to just learn from him more and more each day. And, as we go through practices and walkthroughs, you just can't learn enough from him.
It's like an amazing feeling because I used to watch the Saints a lot being from Mobile. So just used to see him on TV, him with Drew Brees and stuff like that. But for him to be my coach now, it's just an amazing feeling.
Now joining me here in the Broncos podcast studio is Broncos lead writer Aric DiLalla. Aric, thanks for joining me today. Nice to get back outside, see the guys back on the practice field.
Yeah, football's back. It's exciting.
I know, football is back. Well, I want to start off today. Obviously, it was rookie minicamp. We heard earlier in the show from head coach Sean Payton and a few of our draft picks, Aric. But I know our fans are dying to know more about Bo Nix, obviously. So what were your takeaways from practice today in terms of him?
Yeah, I mean, I think first, when we watch these practices, we do have certain regulations that things we're allowed to talk about. So got to talk kind of generally here. Can't, unfortunately, give folks a throw-by-throw breakdown. But it was nice to be out there and kind of get to watch a whole practice, see how guys move from drill to drill, and kind of get their first taste of NFL football. And with Bo, I would say the things that stand out, like they stood out to this coaching staff in college, where he gets rid of the ball quickly, looks poised back there, made some good throws. He looked the part. And, obviously fans will get a look, you'd think, during training camp at more of what Bo Nix is able to do on the football field. But I think you don't want to make grand declarations based off one mini camp practice that you see. But
so early in the offseason.
Exactly. Yeah. But it was exciting to see him out there and just kind of get going and throw some passes to Troy Franklin, to Devon Vele. Sean Payton said afterwards, if you watch Devon Vele play during Saturday's practice, you would have guessed he and Bo were college teammates, just the connection they had. Some nice plays there. So it was fun to watch. And, as Sean Payton said, Bo Nix had a good practice, picking things up quickly, doing a good job with the install. Those are all good signs. Yeah.
I know head coach Sean Payton, he gave an analogy that watching Bo is kind of like watching a good golfer, just in terms of his patience, his decision-making over the weekend, too. So it was nice to hear that from Sean as well.
Yeah, definitely. The execution is good. Like you said, the decision-making. He said Bo plays with patience, which I think you saw out there, talked about. He said boring is the wrong word, but maybe uneventful. Like there's not panic when you watch him play. And Bo kind of joked after in the locker room that he wished he played golf that way.
Yeah.
So maybe a better quarterback than he is a golfer, I guess, according to what he said. But yeah, definitely there's this sense of calm and has the arm talent too. So that's great to see.
Definitely. Aric, you mentioned Troy Franklin and Devon Vele there too. But any other draft picks out there kind of specifically catch your eye? Maybe some guys on defense?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell. Yeah. I think one thing kind of looping back to the offense is the special teams change from a kickoff perspective is really going to be something to watch, and the Broncos worked on that. Sean Payton talked about it. He thinks there's going to be double-digit touchdown returns this year based on the new rules, and there's certainly some lanes for these guys to find. And so that was one of the more interesting parts of practice, was getting to watch that special teams period and watch the returners kind of find angles, find space. And that's a chance, you'd think, right, if you want to make this football team, if you want to carve out a role, find a way to be a special teams contributor. So that stood out to me as well during today's practice.
Yeah. Aric, why do you think this time rookie minicamp is so important, in terms of these players, these rookies getting here, getting some time with the coaching staff before all the vets come onto the field?
Yeah, I mean, well, jokingly, if you're Bo Nix, you want to play well because everyone's going to base their radio opinions all next week based off however many throws on a Saturday in your second practice ever with the Broncos.
Right.
But seriously, I think for draft picks, it's a good chance to just kind of get into things, show how you take teaching in the classroom to the field, which is one of the biggest things in the NFL of, can you take the game plan or the offensive install or defensive install to the field, practice it, go inside, watch it, make corrections, go do it better the next day. That's a big part for draft picks to figure out. You want to learn how the team practices so that when you get tossed in with the vets here soon, you don't miss a beat. Certainly if you are Bo Nix and Sean Payton said, hey, we're going to have a quarterback competition. He said he talked with Ben DiNucci, and just the number of reps made it tough to have 4 quarterbacks. And so you've got Zach Wilson, Jarrett Stidham, Bo Nix. That competition, Sean Payton said they'll figure out how the reps are going to work there. Mm-hmm. But if you're Bo Nix, you want to be able to jump right into OTAs when those happen and be able to start competing, right? And so using this time to get up to speed is really important. Everything from how do we stretch, how do these drills work, how do we stay hydrated? We're at altitude, so it's a little bit different for some of these guys in terms of getting in shape. And then if you are a rookie tryout or a CFA, this is your chance to kind of show something. And, it's rare for rookie tryouts to make the team and then ultimately make the 53, but it hasn't happened. I mean, Adam Thielen's a famous example of a guy who got a rookie tryout, made the roster. He's gone on to do great things. So there may be different objectives for each group. You look at some of these younger guys who are just looking for a chance. Maybe you put out some good tape this weekend, and it helps you find another spot, even if it's not in Denver. So a lot of different reasons that this is valuable, and some teams don't do on-field work, Sid, but Broncos are one of the teams that focus on that, and it's fun for us to watch, and it's good for the players as well.
Definitely, and I know Sean Payton, he talked about that and how important it is to see these guys on the field as well this week, and I thought it was interesting. He talked about how, for this time period for rookie minicamp, there's different tempos of practice that he can have. And he said that really this is the only time where he has guys come in for camp and not really know what conditioning level they're at.
Yeah, exactly. The veterans, first-year type players that participated, he knows what shape they're in. Mm-hmm. You don't know what shape some of these draft picks that have been training for, you're not training for football in the offseason. You're training for the combine so you can run 40 yards as quickly as you possibly can. Our friend Zohair maybe could, and Ike, maybe they could do some of that training.
Yeah.
But you got to get in shape. And certainly, again, at the altitude, it's a little bit of a bigger factor. So that's another part of it as well. There's a lot that goes into being a pro. And I think when you're a rookie, you figure that out really fast. And certainly everything we heard in the draft evaluation process, Sean Payton tries to give these guys, especially quarterbacks, more than they can handle and see how they react to it. Sounds like a similar approach during minicamp of let's give these guys a lot and see how they figure it out.
Yeah. Talking about being a pro, we went inside the locker room after practice today too and heard from most of the draft picks, a few college free agents. I must say, Aric, a lot of the guys were very well spoken. They're very mature. So that was, breath of fresh air to see too.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of these guys have been in college a long time. Yeah. Not in a bad way, obviously, but just the current landscape of college football across the league. You see guys that took COVID years, have been a little bit older maybe. And so, you look at a guy like a Devon Vele who's a little bit older, but a pro, right? And so, or a Nick Gargiulo who spent 4 or 5 years at Yale and then transfers to South Carolina, gets a different level of competition, gets a new experience. And you want guys that are going to come here and be ready to compete, be pros. And I was impressed with what I saw this weekend, like you said, both on and off the field.
Yep, me too. It was nice to be outside, watch practice again. Aric, appreciate you joining the show today.
You got it, Sid.
That's going to do it for today's episode of Broncos Now. Broncos Country, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll meet you right back here on the Broncos Podcast Network and YouTube next week for another episode. I will see you all then.